My name's Theo Cane Garvey. I'm an independent filmmaker, an illustrator, retro enthusiast and journalist born and raised in the steel city of Sheffield. I'm also known to some as battle rapper Psychosis Holocaust, but no matter what I'm doing, it's all connected to the fact that I love making art, watching movies and being creative. On top of all this, along with my team, the SHEFFSPENDABLES, we've spent the last few years painstakingly putting together the most ambitious project that we've ever attempted, my feature-length post-apocalyptic action-adventure movie, Unit 11. So you could say that we're quite busy, but I couldn't turn down the opportunity to create our own TV show, so me and the team are pulling together all of our resources to let you into our world and speak to other people that are on similar missions to what we are, as well as throw in a ton of other cool stuff just for the fun of it. Because there's so much more out there than what the modern day mainstream media spoon feeds us, not to mention all the amazing old school nostalgia that we forget about, so we're going to take you on a journey deep underground. This is Slimehouse TV. Welcome to the very first ever episode of Slimehouse TV. Make some noise! The show that brings you the very best in underground movies, cult music, and anything else cool, artistic, retro, and edgy. We're a completely self-funded show. The funding for this programme is zero, but what we lack in budget, we make up for with a sick line of special guests that we're going to keep featuring throughout this series. Now, about 5 years ago, I entered the world of UK battle rap, and it was here where I met our first guest tonight. We've worked on several music and battle-related projects together, but he's now gone on to set up his own solo company called Words of Weapons, which has taken the UK grime scene by storm, throwing some huge events with even bigger clashes. So give a big round of applause to my good friend and UK battle rap veteran, Chronicle! How we doing, bro? Good.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, just firstly, just to anyone that doesn't know about what you've done, just give me a bit about your background, like how we met and just what you did before we met, because you've done a hell of a lot.
Pretty much, I'm a musician, rapper, poet. I've written a few short films. I've done a bit of acting as well, a bit of theatre. I'm also a youth worker as well, so I do a bit of everything, but my main thing that I do at the moment is I host my own events all across the country, Words of Weapons, the grime class thing.
And just tell me a bit about how you got involved in the battle rap thing, because you've been doing it a lot longer than I had. Like, when I come into it, you was like a big name in Manchester and on the scene. People feared Chronicle, do you know what I mean? So just tell me a bit about how you got into that.
I was into like the grime scene. A lot of people don't know. A lot of people think that I was just a rapper first, but I was actually a garage and grime MC first. I just kind of drifted into the battle shit because I got a message off from Don't Flop. He's like, yo, I've heard you're like the man in Manchester for battles. To be honest, I wasn't really a battler, but I just thought I'd give it a go, and I got roped into it, and then I was battling for 3-4 years, and then, yeah, it just went from there pretty much.
And now you're running the Words of Weapons things. Just tell me a bit about Words of Weapons and what makes it different from other Clash leagues.
Well, primarily, we're an on-beat battle channel. We're kind of different because the talent pool on our channel is kind of quite diverse. We've got MCs, you know, from all different backgrounds. We've got college kids, we've got students, we've got kids from the street, we've got kids from good upbringing. So it's kind of a mixed pool of talent, like I was saying. But we are different, I think, mainly because it's on beat. And primarily in the north as well. We don't really do many events in the south. It's mostly northern MCs. There's not a lot of platforms for northern battlers in grime and shit, so I'd say.
So yeah, I've got a clip for us to watch, man. Let's have a look at some previous events.
What's going on, man? We're here in Leeds, about to get into one of the main event classes. Leeds, who's ready for the class? Make some noise.
I've been waiting for this shit so long. You're not intimidating no one. You're not hard, you're about to get parked. You can't write new bars, so you remix your own ones. Yeah, you're a side man on the side prick. You were shook to class cannon, so I did. I'm blessed with the bars, I rhyme sick. You're not the best in dance, I did. You can't test this.
I break the left side of your ribs, take them out and then stab you in your kidneys. I go into this. Don't act foolish, crime scene nuisance, your execution. Begun when I stepped in the room, now watch how this 5-foot female snoozing.
Not from Arbors, don't know my firearms, these charges. I got man them making a film that are serious with them, you're the one drama. You're just angry cause your head's massive, and you gotta pay twice when you go home. Said you're angry cause your head's massive, and you gotta pay twice when you go home. Coming every with a flow, so make the bar slow down. You get jacked with your food, so now you're half hold down. You don't want it, but you can't go down. A man that gets jacked in his ends, and that's the reason man can't go town, man. Walk round in a place that he's from. It's an on-site thing. If I catch man slipping, I'll photo you. Then your face is gone. It must be cracking the zoot that you're blazing, dog.
Who the fuck put this hoe on a pedestal? Soldier is known as a joke on the road and respectable. Vocally, the flow is incredible. Twist your cap back and he don't to a vegetable. Of a two-bit MC's flows are identical. Chronicles the potent original. My shit's poetry. Every tone, every syllable. I rip holes in his ventricle. Get a snap back, put your nose to your testicles.
You can't pull no more. Yo, don't pull no more.
When I met you, you were a battler, you started as a battler, now you're running your own league, so it's a completely different thing that we're going into now, do you know what I mean? Like, just tell me about some of the stuff that can go wrong, like, and the amount of stuff that you've got to think about at an event, like, how does it differ from just turning up and having to rap to now managing the whole event and just looking after people, making sure they're on point and that kind of thing?
Most people know me from Don't Flop anyway, when I used to host events with them. So I've got a lot of experience, and when I went into running my own events, there's a lot of things to consider. It's a company in itself, so you've got a lot of things to think about, the financing, you know, how you're going to fund events, pay for venues, pay for cameramen, you know, how you're going to promote it and pay for the graphic designers, the editing. That's just one area of it. Then you've got to book all the battlers, you've got to speak to maybe 16 to 20 different people, you've got to pick all the different beats, you know, how many bars are they going to spit per round. They've got, you know, plenty of things can go wrong. Everybody's got different issues, you know, people might not be able to get there on time, they've not got money. It's just a business, isn't it? You've got to think about all the different things that go on behind the scenes, and obviously people watch the classes. It might be like a 5-10 minute video, but there's a lot of work that goes in behind that to make it actually happen, and it's hard work, man, but I enjoy it, you know what I'm saying? This is my culture, I love it, I like music, I like classes, I like battling, and it's my life, it's what I do, and I enjoy it, so.
I've had enough of you so-called G's, I've had enough of you so-called buddies. You're a man with a light up a firework, I don't want to hear you say you're spark up a swammy. Don't bust guts, ain't got straps, no for a fact you never filled up a Maggie, or Steve or gas. I don't want to hear you're taught your gas. Up north, I got no anger.
When you're putting on these big events, and then, like, obviously it happens with everyone, the biggest event to the smallest event, people flop last minute and that kind of thing, people mess you about, venues mess you about, you get to a venue, no, I can't do it, we've arranged for 6 months now, I can't do it now. How do you deal with them kind of situations? What gets you through that, persevering through that kind of stuff?
Just got to be creative, you got to be able to just think on the spot. If something goes wrong, you know, what can I do? For example, might be 2 battlers that are battling, one of them drops out. There might be somebody else at the venue that's an MC, and we'll try and get them to step in and, you know, class last minute, or a light on a camera might break. So what you're going to do, you could get a lamp or something, and you know, bare different shit can go wrong, do you know what I mean? So you've got to be on your toes, you've got to be ready, and you've got to strive and make shit happen with what you've got.
What advice would you give to someone that's wanting to get into battling now, whether it be grime or battling like the a cappella format? What advice would you give to people?
Well, like you say, there's a lot of MCs that are in it now, innit? So I'd say if you want to stand out, if you want to get somewhere, if you want to actually, you know, make it a career path and make money out of it and succeed and break through the hundreds, thousands of other MCs, you've got to stand out, you've got to be original, you've got to do something that everybody else isn't doing. You've got to, you know, and try and be true to yourself as well. Bring out your uniqueness as a person and show everyone why you're different, and just stick at it, persevere. It's all about repetition. If you want to get somewhere and you want to progress, you just got to keep doing it over and over and over again, and you might get somewhere, you might not. There's no guarantees that you're going to get anywhere. Just got to keep doing it.
And I mean, without going into it too much, just because I know you personally, like, obviously the early parts of your life were quite criminal orientated and that kind of thing. You didn't have the best start. What would your advice be, like, getting through that? You told me before music saved your life, do you know what I mean? Just elaborate a bit on that, Cron.
I'm not going to go into my past and stuff like that, because I think your past does make, you know, the person that you are, but I don't know, just like I say, make do with what you've got. For me, music and battling did it saved me a little bit, because I did go off the rails at one point. When I was a lot younger, got in with the wrong crowd, done a few things that people might not appreciate or whatever, but music for me, that was kind of like my outlet and my passion. Channel everything that you've got. If you're a musician, and doesn't matter what past you've got, if you've got a bad past or whatever, just channel it and harness it into music. I think that was one of the good ways from, you know, my past, bringing that back out. I kind of was able to harness it and express it to people in a creative and innovative way that they could appreciate, because it was creative, it was musical. People could kind of get my story and just understand me a little bit more.
Just finally, 2 questions. If people want to get in touch with you about appearing on Words of Weapons, where do they go to? And also, if they just want to check out some Words of Weapons clashes, because I mean, it is different. It's not like a cappella rap battling. Do you know what I mean? It's completely its own thing. Yeah, so people want to be checking it out. Where can they go to see that? Just
go on Google, type in WAW, and everything will come up. We're at the top of the search in Google and YouTube, all of that. Just type WAW, it'll come up straight away, and you'll find us from there.
Wicked, man. Well, it's always a pleasure to chill with you, bro. You always give me some knowledge, and we always bounce off some mad conversation. So thanks for coming to Sheffield for Words of Weapons. Give me a round of applause, people. Chronicle. So from battling to art now, as earlier this week we caught up with graphic artist and graffiti writer Mila here in Sheffield and spent a whole day with him. So let's see how we got on. A couple of years ago, I made a feature-length documentary called Sheffield Graffiti Kingdom, which told the story of Sheffield in the 1980s when it was the most painted city in Europe. At the premiere of that documentary, I hooked up with graffiti writer and graphic artist Mila and became an instant fan of his work and the sharp boldness of the black and white that he used. What we're going to do today is we're going to hook up with Mila and go on a little mission with him. He's going to paint a wall, hopefully do a piece and get a bit of an interview with him. So I'm looking forward to it. Let's see how we get on. Obviously, you've got all your different kinds of cans. But from my experience hanging with graffiti writers, it's all about the Montana Gold and the MTM 94. It's what we use. It's what they use.
One of them ones.
What we got planned today?
Scatting some warehouses. This is one I've kind of found for a week. It's kind of abandoned, so we're going down there. Quite kind of tight location. We'll get down there. It's cool, it'll be cool, like, we'll be safe.
Looking forward to it. Let's go, man.
Yeah, man, definitely.
I got the dirty hands, doing damage exceeding 30 grand. Cause I'm tagging from inner cities to deserted lands. Slump pack, permanent markers all in my rucksack. I terrorize your town with a couple of cans of bunt like I run that. My pieces are deeper than most. I'm resurrecting dead graphers doing pieces with ghosts. I stay in this game, forever keep spraying my name. I ain't working in galleries, I'm on display on the train. I'm never slacking up, Philly's the graph attacking and wagging up. Shaking this can of lacquer to put the baddest the blackers up. Annihilating all them toys and imposters like I'm walking around attacking.
Just reminiscing about filming Sheffield Graffiti Kingdom, coming into crazy little areas with bags of rattling cans. Kind of like the places that we filmed Unit 11, lots of mad derelict buildings. I've not been to this one before, which is rare because I know most of them. But yeah, I'm looking to see what it's like when he fills it in, man.
I used to do all this in emotion, but it's just messing about when you're carrying emotion around all day. And you're on like flaky walls like this, it just takes too long.
I'm tagged in the tombs of Tutankhamun and the Nefertiti. Philly's tagged in the Philippines in the port of graffiti. I'm traveling back in time just to come and tag in your teepee. This graffiti's like an aerosol art, nothing can tear us apart. My ghetto pieces even glare in the dark. I'm the savage type to come to your cave and tag in the
So, tell me about your style, where it come from and what influences you.
Started off with a graphic designer. A lot of it probably just came from that, you know, just doing straight black and white. And kind of conveying your message kind of quite clear rather than just over complexing it.
This character that you paint, this Mila character, the female character, she appears in quite a lot. She seems to be like a continuing character throughout your work.
I think it's kind of one of those when you draw quite a lot, you get some kind of characters just always kind of appear in your work. But obviously there was Mila and then there was this character called the Fisk, because like kind of her sidekick. It's just like it's always kind of something that I've always drawn. Maybe like when she actually became like and she got a name to it, that's when she started getting all the markings and she getting like the trademark beauty spot, which is like from Cindy Crawford. She's like she taking her eyes out. It was like a quote. I think I mean it's cliche, but it was like read in one of Banks' book when he was saying like police in their helmets. You're always covering like their eyebrows because your eyebrows always tell emotions to what you're doing. So like the kind of shape, I kind of influenced that into her, so you can never kind of tell what she's thinking
it's quite often when you get people that are doing a lot of legal stuff, they kind of like lose that respect at street level graffiti, whereas you've never really had that. You seem to have that respect on street level, and then you're also going off and doing a lot of graphic stuff as well. So how do you maintain that balance?
I think as long as you're kind of painting stuff and you're just painting artwork and just being true and like kind of believing what you want to do. I don't know if I am respected, I don't know. It's kind of other people's kind of opinions that, but I just try and hit streets and paint, and I'm not bothered. Like if you're gonna paint something and get arrested, you're gonna get arrested. I'd rather not, but you know, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it. And I think you just best off just kind of just like say following your heart and just doing it. I have always drawn, like it's something I've always done. I'm rubbish at everything else. It's like I'll never work in a call centre. I'll never do this work. I'll never like. I can't work like in these retail positions. I've always drawn, like from when I was young. I mean, apart from being like wanting to be like a fireman or something, you know, when you're like proper in your nipple, like you're never gonna become that. But well, I can't imagine me climbing up fucking ladders and that, you know.
Not unless it's to spray a wall.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be climbing up ladders, rescuing cats out of trees and that.
It seems like myself, like art to me means everything. Like, what does art mean to you?
Everything. I think if I didn't have art and I weren't drawing and I lost my hands and lost my sight, I'd find some way to create. I don't know how to do it, but I'd do it. And if I couldn't do that, I'd just end it. I couldn't live without art. I could never live without creating, or at least knowing that I was creating something.
So you do the graffiti thing, you do the graphic arts thing. Like, what's next? Where do you want to take this next?
I don't know. I think I want to develop this kind of world that Mila lives in. I mean, Mila's got like a big backstory to where she comes from, what she's about. The world she lives in is not meant to be our world. It's kind of like this dystopian, like corrupt, kind of dark world where nothing is good. It's a depressing place, and it's kind of like it kind of touches on things that we've all gone through in life. And I want to like kind of push that and kind of get it more into like doing a small like book, or I don't know. It'd be great to like watch it on screen, but obviously I don't know about that. It's quite far in the future, but for now, I know this year I want to kind of push more to a short story book, illustration book.
Well, I can't wait for it, man. I'll be the first one to pick one up. Okay. It's been a wicked day, man. I've enjoyed it. Big ups, mate.
Yeah,
thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Slimehouse TV. It's what we do.
My name's Luke Jr. I'm a professional boxer from Sheffield, and I'm a part of SHEFFSPENDABLES team. I've been boxing now for about 13 and a half years. The main reason I started boxing, I just love the adrenaline side of it. I've had my nose broke 9 times. As you can see, it's nice and flat. At the minute I'm training 3 times a week in the morning due to work. If I could do it full time, I would train 3 times a day like most pros do. I met Theo through Facebook, followed his music, watched a lot of Don't Flop battles, and then I saw a post on Facebook asking for extras for a Sunday afternoon. First time actors or extras. Been filming for 3 years since. My favourite part of Unit 11 was the banter with lads, and Lasser's got a decent sniper on team. Guns, all to do with guns on there. Handguns, MP5s, old gas blowback, whether it's getting shot at by Ian, paintball gun. Standing very close to explosions when Theo's trying to keep me safe, but I'm wanting to lay on it near enough.
I ran too soon.
The most memorable Unit 11 filming days when we ended up going into the Sheffield Mountains, the swamp scene. The funniest thing I've ever seen is Slacky and Theo face down in mud, nearly drowning and eating. The smell. I just can't wait for Unit 11 film to be finished and the world to know about it. I want to be able to see everybody's reaction to how hard they've worked towards their parts, whether it's just a couple of seconds as an extra or main roles, all hard work, and then it'll give them confidence for the next time for a new project, and pressure feels had filming it. This TV show and Unit 11 has all been done off no budget, so if we do get a budget or some sponsors to help out, who knows what we can achieve with that.
Been complaining left, right and centre, but when we were kids we were raised to be hard nuts, and if you didn't have at least one alien xenomorph in your toy box were probably full of Keepers and My Little Pony.
In a real life imitation of his his novel, so there's a murderer emulating his stories.
If there's a big hip-hop gig kicking off anywhere in the UK or Europe, chances are these guys are playing at it. Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise for Phili and Dotz! Part of the show, we're going to talk about one of my favourite things in the whole world, movies, and in particular retro movies. I'm joined here by my friend Tasmin, who's an artist, a teacher, a performer, but most importantly a massive movie fan. So what we're going to do is each week we're going to talk about one of our favourite films. You might not have seen it before, you might have seen it, but we're just going to give you a bit about the storyline and why we like it personally. So what we got this week?
Okay, so first up we've got Tenebrae, which is a classic giallo by Dario Argento in 1982. The story is that a novelist goes to Rome to basically sort a deal out, and he gets caught up in a real life imitation of his novel. So there's a murderer emulating his stories.
But the girl was killed 5 hours ago. Her mouth was stuffed with pages from a book, Tenebrae.
Tenebrae?
And it deals with all sorts of social taboos, particularly of that era, that you didn't really see on camera so much. Things like gay relationships or female killers or the potential of female killers.
Quite notably with the film are the colour palettes that are used, because it is a giallo film, which comes from the Italian word yellow, which was the colour of a lot of the Pulp Fiction novels at the time. So a lot of the sets are very black and white, so that when the blood does start flowing, it's almost like a painting. Something that's very notable as well is the soundtrack by Goblin. Goblin were known for doing a lot of the Dario Argento stuff, Suspiria, Phenomena, even stuff like Dawn of the Dead that Dario Argento was obviously a co-producer on. And the soundtrack that's for Tenebrae is easily one of the most iconic soundtracks that Goblin ever created. There's a wicked scene with a Doberman. We call it the Doberman of Death. There's a dog in it that's not even really anything to do with the film.
Nothing to do with the film.
Quite iconic again of Italian filmmakers is just throwing things in to kind of chuck you off guard for a second, make you think, oh, is this part of the story in any way? Is this linked? They just kind of mess with your head a little bit. They like to throw things in there that aren't really anything to do with anything, but just a wicked scene all the same. And there's also, towards the end of the film, one of the best camera shots in any film ever, in my opinion, where there's a great reveal of one of the people that could be the killer, could not. You'll have to watch the movie.
We've also got some really good dialogue in this film that always gets a laugh.
I'd offer you something harder, but you don't drink on duty, right?
I only drink on duty. A scotch, please, straight up.
Another really interesting fact is in the dream sequences, the lady who gets murdered wasn't actually at that time a lady, and that's pulling in the sexuality issues and taboos that they like to explore in giallo genre.
One of the biggest factors about this film is that it was on the original video nasty list, and that was a list that if you was found with that, whether you were renting it, copying it, buying it, or even just in the possession of it, you could face jail time, man. The video nasty list was seen as like the worst films, the dirtiest films in the world ever, which, to say how much of like an arty film it is, it's a giallo, do you know what I mean? It's not a snuff movie, it's far from it, but at the time it was considered as bad as the rest of the films on the video nasty list, which is crazy. We'll be back each week. We're going to keep talking about different movies. Until next time,
see you later.
Watch Tenebrae. What you saying, G? No, just chilling me. What, in my ends? Yo, murk this little mug! Most people can remember at least a few of the toys that they had as a kid. And if you grew up in the 80s and 90s, chances are a lot of the toys that you were playing with were from film franchises that you weren't even old enough to be watching. We're talking Rambo, Commando, Terminator, even A Nightmare on Elm Street. You see, nowadays, if they made a toy line of something like Taken or The Purge, parents would be complaining left, right and centre. But when we were kids, we were raised to be hard nuts. And if you didn't have at least one alien xenomorph in your toy box were probably full of Keepers and My Little Pony. So where did it all start? Here. Well, at least for us it did anyway. This is Slacker, we've been mates since we were 3 years old. And when we're not making movies, gaming or fighting at Akenthorpe Playgroup, we're doing another one of my favourite things in the whole wide world. Toy hunting!
Back when I was a kid, Toys R Us, it was like a day out, a full day trip. You know, my mum said, Friday, if you're being a good lad, we'll go to Toys R Us. So I used to get hyped up, go in there, and all toys from films that I shouldn't have really been watching. You know, Terminator, Predator.
Now, I'm not just suggesting that you could go somewhere like Toys R Us and pick up these kind of toys. Now you've got to go places like toy fairs, car books, but the reason I wanted to talk about Toys R Us is because that's where it started for us, and that's where we first discovered the Kenner toy line.
You're next, John Connor. I'm back.
Terminator deploys his secret weapon.
Hasta la vista, baby. Terminated this time.
Terminator is back.
Now, during the early 90s, Kenner geared towards more of the movie franchise figures, which is why we saw stuff like Alien, Predator, Terminator, but one of my favourite Kenner toy lines was none other than Jurassic Park. That's mad and all, you won't get off it, you get that now. Visceral muscle and blood and bone. Right, good. So this one, you could ram it into a wall. Next minute, smash lots up. Finding this with all these eggs is near to impossible.
Yeah. Especially when there's only 3 eggs. Oh no, there's 4.
You wouldn't ever find that loose like that, would you?
If that had 3 eggs, I won't even show it on telly. I only have complete in my collection. Then you've got your Terminator figures. This is one I had as a kid, the Future War Terminator great figure. That's my actual one from when I was a kid.
When I go into someone's house and I see that they've got flowers up and ornaments, I like people to go in my house and see my toys, my Predators. That's what I'm into now, so I've got all my Predators around, and I like to just look back and just have their memories, really. Here we have the Alien collection by Kenner, and also my favourite is the Predator collection. As you can see, there's probably many Predators and Aliens you've never seen from films. These are the original ones that we know of.
No, we'll see you film now.
But Kenner, I mean, as a kid you loved it. We never saw Gorilla as an alien.
Gorilla alien.
Oh, these weird looking ones, but they just kept bringing them out obviously to make more money.
Got Snake Yellow.
We loved them.
Kenner were renowned for doing like crazy outlandish designs characters, like the Batman line. They'd have like Pirate Batman, Robin and Loxley Robin. But obviously as a kid you couldn't get enough for it. The more the merrier.
As with a lot of Predator figures, I mean, not just Predator, any of the Kenners, they always have good artwork on them. And because there were no internet back in them days, if you wanted to know what other figures they were, you had to look on back. So then they were always that one you could never get hold of. And you used to say, Mum, I used to go all over Sheffield looking for him, and she would take me because I was spoiled. So they just show you different insight how many to collect. And sometimes they have got good backgrounds, which you never even got yourself. I mean, you could not get that, so you'd have to make it yourself. When you do find an old toy that you had as a kid, it just brings back so many memories. It's like an achievement that you found something so good.
Does that go back and forward as well? Sick.
Such colour that baits, isn't it?
That one does.
Yeah, serious.
Little recoil. That's got dog tags in that one, that's good. You see, as we get older, we're expected to go out of the stuff that we loved as a kid. And a lot of people do, but to people like me and Slacker, that's never going to happen. This stuff takes you back to a simpler time where the only thing that you had to worry about were maybe missing your favourite Saturday morning cartoon series. And to be honest, I love cool stuff too much. And it don't get much cooler than 80s and 90s movie action figures. Okay, next up we've got a hip-hop duo from London who have successfully combined the styles of new and old-school hip-hop to create something that's truly unique and something that I'm a massive personal fan of. If there's a big hip-hop gig kicking off anywhere in the UK or Europe, chances are these guys are playing at it. Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise for Phili Dotz! Come on! Good, bro. Cool, have a sit down. Wicked, how we doing, boys? We good?
Yeah,
Good. Right, I'm going to pass you the mic with this one, obviously, because there's two of you. Yeah, I mean, what the thing that strikes me most about your two guys is like the age gap. It is the new and the old school thing in like the coolest way, do you know what I mean? So, yeah, just tell me a bit about like how your two met and where the idea came from.
Do you know what it was? It was crazy how we met, actually. I used to do, obviously, jump off the rap battles when I first got into it. And the first time I ever went to London, Phili just happened to be at the event. And because he cut his dreads off, I didn't recognise him. So I've been like listening to him.
I did it when I seen you. When you come to me and said safe, bro.
So obviously, like, I've been listening to him for years as a kid, and I was chatting to him for like 2 hours before I even realised who he was. And then we ended up on the same train on the way back. And then, yeah, it kind of just stemmed from there. I don't know if there's anything I've forgotten that you want to add, or...
Yeah, well, boy, for me, it was a thing of like, it was a random night. It was a Monday night. I work full time as well, so I never usually go out on a school night anyway, you know what I mean? So for me to go out on this Monday night, go to a battle and buck up on him, and then we just ended up being on the same train home, had a little freestyle cypher on the train home as well, and then ended up realising who each other were from that, and then we just basically stuck up a friendship from there.
And Sai, just a question for you. You've been around a lot longer than Dotz, a lot longer than I have, do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, old school. Has stuff changed since then? What's the difference between old and new school hip-hop? Is it a good progression, or is there anything that you miss from them days, or...?
It's definitely a big progression, really, do you know what I mean? I'm from Luton myself, so when I first started doing hip-hop, it was so London-orientated. If you weren't from London, you weren't really getting a look in, do you know what I mean? And I was one of the first groups that wasn't from London and kind of got a bit of a look in from London and different areas as well as the UK and Europe as well. So over time, things have just changed where you've got groups like the 4 Hours, you've got other groups that are from completely miles out of London that are really making a big impact within hip-hop, do you know what I mean? And for me, I listen to a lot more UK hip-hop now as opposed to the American hip-hop that I used to listen to back in the day, where I could get more influence from what I'm seeing in my own surroundings as opposed to the stuff that I'm not living in America and things like that, do you know what I mean? So it's good for youngers in the UK to be able to represent with their own music and be able to identify with artists without here, and then realise it is something that they can achieve, as opposed to it being something that you've got to be living in America and rapping with an American accent for you to be able to get noticed or have a chance to do it. So for me, UK hip-hop's got a lot better within the last few years, do you know what I mean? So
a bit of advice, like what would you give to someone who's starting out now that wants to get into hip-hop, how to stand out without looking like you're begging it, like inboxing 1,000 people your new video and stuff?
For me, the first thing I'd say is really you just got to know that you're doing it for the right reasons, you know what I mean? If you know that you're doing music because you like doing music first and foremost, and the music that you're doing is good, you know what I mean? You can have a million yes men around you telling you, yeah, your music's great, you know what I mean? If you know what you're hearing isn't that good, you know what I mean? Don't put your whole life into that and think, well, I don't want a job and I'm not doing anything but doing this music thing. And I could be even telling you that and I'm completely wrong, because someone's going to hear your music and make you a billionaire from that, you know what I mean? The music game's so crazy these days, you know what I mean? Anything can happen, you know what I mean? But for me, as it's, you know what I mean, I've got kids who always want to do music and things like that, and look at me and look at what I do, and the first thing I would be telling them is to make sure that they've got everything else covered before they're going to go and look for this pipe dream, which is music or anything to do with art like that, and just make sure they're doing it for the right reasons. And then once you are doing that, you've got a quality product, you can put that out there and approach the right people, and people will notice your thing because you've got a quality product, you know what I mean?
And obviously we're very privileged now. You're going to perform for us. Tell me a little bit about that track, because it's wicked. I've been watching the video a lot since I know you were coming on the show.
Big up, man. Yeah, no, the track's called Travel the Globe. Originally, there's quite a story to this one. Originally, we recorded the track over a Leaf Dog beat, and then we sent it to him, and he was like, I didn't realise that you still had the beat. BVA's used the beat on his new album, so we were like, we're stuck with this track.
It's a wicked beat as well.
Yeah.
All day.
Well, the original beat is on BVA's album. So what we did was we were stuck with this track that we loved, but we couldn't put it out because the beat was used by someone else. So we sent the acapella to this dude called Passion Hi-Fi. Big up Passion Hi-Fi. He's been a massive, massive help. He recorded, engineered the whole Phili Dotz album and a lot of my old solo stuff. He's been a big part of the journey. And yeah, he just remade this crazy soul beat around it, and then it just went from there. And we did the video with Ollie Whitehouse from Section Red, and we got people from all around the world, and we sent them all like a 10-second clip of like a different part of the track, and just got them to rap it at a camera or at an iPhone and send it back. So there's people in like the Gambia, Switzerland, America, like Morocco, all over the places, like with Phili Dotz t-shirts on and like rapping the lyrics along, like mixed in with the footage of us rapping it. And we were in Holland when we shot the video as well, so it was all just kind of tied in with the travelling theme of the whole track and everything. But yeah.
Wicked, so they're going to perform that now. Everyone give a big hand to Phili and Dotz, man. Thanks for coming on, bro. Appreciate it.
No,
Side. Thank you. Action!
Yo, listen. Big up Slime House. Phili and Dotz in your area. Yo, it's Phili and Dotz and yo. Yo, it's Phili and Dotz and yo. Yo, it's Phili and Dotz, coming with the fancy bars. Singing to this fancy car, battling, traveling back from Zanzibar. The rap salamander was hot as Rwanda, dropping propaganda, popping my shot. You take a gander, carrying speech, straighter than the barrier breeze. We stand in the heat, in sandals like a Spanish or Greek. The Romanian, riding as my chariot creeps. And I ain't stopping till I'm living in a mansion in Crete. With sand on my feet, I down on the beach and start a tsunami. Move over to Japan and 4 rappers like Cobra's Army. Start harming you, rhyming like that, you feel me, you're tailing ya. Stop your body parts in the hardest part of Australia. Derailing ya, leaving your train racing a place freeze. Causing earthquakes in Haiti when I spray freeze. Nothing like that, I leave a rapper with a brain freeze. In the middle of literally spitting great scenes. Behold, while the rhymes down with the sword. From the slow top mountains to the canyon is broad. To the hills in Jamaica where the cannabis grows. But come and sit back and watch the planet explode. Stand and behold, while the rhymes down with the sword. From the slow top mountains to the canyon is broad. To the hills in Jamaica where the cannabis grows. But come and sit back and watch the planet explode. We're getting rid of ya, artists and terrorists like in Syria. As I was all the terrorists, popping shots in Namibia, Bolivia. Artists are getting rid of chlamydia. Bringing the pieces, way tracking rappers and Singalicia. In India, snake charm, I cobra with the Linda. Cutting knives with my palms in the southern peninsula. I'm into ya, driving round Europe in a hamper van. Ending up in Amsterdam, smoking up to Kazakhstan. Batting the Taliban up in Pakistan. I'm punching up a plan with the Taliban in Afghanistan. Stick up the streets and we drop a police. Phili and Dotz is on the top of the most dangerous beat. Every day of the week, traveling the map of the rap. From the Great Wall of China to the African tracks. To the outbacks and shacks to Canada's blacks. We tiptoe across mountains like a balancing act. Stand and behold, while the rhymes down with the glow. From the snow-top mountains to the family is born. To the hills in Jamaica where the cannabis grows. I come and sit back and watch the planet explode. Stand and behold, while the rhymes down with the glow. From the snow-top mountains to the family is born. To the hills in Jamaica where the cannabis grows. I come and sit back and watch the planet explode. With a strong ball, the panic like watching a bomb blow. Watching me watch a phone blowing up in the Congo. The strong goal, popping all the way to Toronto. Phili and Dotz the globe, trotting top in the pronto. Rocking a poncho with a Mexican hat. With a bright white beard and Thomas Edison hat. Give me a minute to black, the blind is a heaven and black. So I can show you if this planet's any better than that. Damaging everywhere we get on the map. We're in the darkest parts of Africa, we're getting down with cannibal rap. We're traveling back, attacking with our power to pack. Phili and Dotz is up and down with these flammable tracks. Irrational acts like chilling in the jungle mud. We're trying to jump the Grand Canyon in a London bus. When I'm drunk as fuck, rhymes so we conjured up. Travel the world like Columbus in compass bra. Standing behold, while our rhymes travel the globe. From the slow top mountains to the Zambia road. To the hills in Jamaica where the cannabis grows. Now come and sit back and watch the planet explode. Standing behold, while our rhymes travel the globe. From the slow top mountains to the Zambia road. To the hills in Jamaica where the cannabis grows. Now come and sit back and watch the planet explode. Say PNB, PNB, yo, it's PNB, PNB, yo, it's Phili and Dotz, yo, Phili and Dotz, yo, it's Phili and Dotz, yo, Slime House, yo, it's PNB.
But in my opinion, he's a legend. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for one of the first people to ever take me seriously as a filmmaker, Ricardo Lacombe! Okay, well normally that's not my thing, but if you made it, I'll check it out, because I know.
At that point, but when I got on, he said turn around, and we looked back around, and right behind me, with a 5 metre, 1 ton great white shark.
I used to watch this with my dad when I was a kid, so it's got a lot of fond memories for me.
Break, we've got a 20-minute special on YouTube titan and claymation animator Leod Castle. I met him at a film festival in Sheffield, Celluloid Screams, where he was screening his short film Ghost Burger. So it's going to be good to find out what he's working on now and if he's got anything bigger coming out in the future.